Alrighty, well, welcome to this lights out edition of the Minnesota Vikings preview. Oh boy. When I say hello, darkness, my old friend, I ain't kidding, am I? Yeah, because for those of you who watched my last week's video and stuff like that, Kirk Cousins is officially on IR for the rest of the year with a torn Achilles, which, let's be honest here, I'm pretty sure everybody saw coming, which stinks because in a lot of people's eyes, media, fans, NFL circles, the one player you can ill afford to lose, well, outside of Justin Jefferson, really, but, JJ's been out for a few weeks, and the Vikings almost in a weird way have gotten better, or at the very least gelled and gotten more continuity with the background players. But if your starting quarterback goes down, rarely does that end well for the team. It can happen, but it's rare. So, now we're on to Jaren Hall. Let's see what the rookie can do here. Like I say, you drafted him for a reason. And in my opinion, what the offense should do is cater to his skill set a little bit more. Because we still got some speedy receivers. We still got some beef and girth that can help, block up front. And if anything, with the Ezra Cleveland trade, with Dalton Dreiser basically earning that left guard position, maybe our offensive line finally gets that kick in the teeth it needs, even though, taking nothing away from Ezra, but Ezra's more of a tackle, not really a guard. So, it'll just be interesting to see what happens there. But, like I say, going back to Jaren Hall here, if Jaren Hall can go out there and play game manager in a way, I think he'll be fine. Just because you don't have to, Rome wasn't built in a day here, people. You don't have to go out there and, go 5 wide, 5 deep, and just send everyone down the field. No. Even though he does actually have a pretty lively arm from what I remember him coming out of BYU, even though I didn't really watch a lot of BYU games, let's just be honest. But Jaren is a mobile guy. In a lot of ways, Vikings fans, myself included, have been clamoring for someone who's just as much a threat with his legs as they are with his arm. So, we'll see what goes on there. And also, to be fair, we're taking on the Atlanta Falcons, who themselves are kind of in an identity crisis. Let's be honest here, Arthur Smith seems like he's talking out of both ends of his face, mouth, and ass at this point, so I don't know really what to believe with him. Bijan Robinson, they rarely, seldomly use for whatever reason. Again, if you draft a guy that high and you're not using him, why aren't you using him? Or why did you draft him in the first place? But again, I understand that one. Yeah, like I say, the Falcons will be starting Taylor Heineke. Does that name sound familiar, Vikings fans? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So what's that mean? He's probably going to drop 350 yards and 5 touchdowns on us. Because that's usually how that thing goes. No, but in all honesty, though, the Falcons are an intriguing team because they're technically still at the top of the NFC South, I should say. But for how long? Who knows? Their defense is actually a lot better than it has been in the past years, with guys like Jesse Bates basically being that big anchor, which I kind of forgot that Jesse Bates ended up in Atlanta, not going to lie. Because I know that secondary got overhauled something fierce over the last season and a half or so. And Younghoe Koo, in my opinion, is one of the better kickers in the league that I don't know if no one talks about, or if maybe he does get a fair amount, but to me it just seems like he never really gets a lot of recognition for being just a solid kicker. Yeah, like I say, doing this sort of audio preview to basically signal that in a lot of fans' eyes, the Vikings season has cut off the lights, if you may say. Even though, in my opinion, there's still 8 games to go. And if anything, this is a great dress rehearsal, because if Jaron Hall can't, do the thing, or, he's just not quite ready, then you can still put in Joshua Dobbs, who has started several games this year, and granted on a Cardinals team where Hollywood Brown is arguably your number one contributor, which kind of stings because Hollywood Marquise Brown is actually one of the more underrated receivers and stuff like that in the league. It's just, when he got traded over to Arizona from Baltimore, he basically disappeared. We'll just leave it there. But, yeah, I mean, like I say, this will be an interesting matchup, between the Vikings and the Falcons. Because, again, it's not like the Falcons are necessarily, a juggernaut team either. Even though last time we played the 49ers, we got our 49ers. The Falcons, last time we played the 49ers, that was actually a pretty good game. But, yeah, anyway, last time we played the Falcons, we got our asses absolutely handed to us at home, and that was the game where I just basically said for the final, fire Zimmer. So, hopefully we go in there with a little more fire, a little more juice under our guts, and also be curious to see if Justin Jefferson comes back, because I think he's eligible to return either next week or the week after, which will be another boost for either Jaron Hall or Josh Dobbs. Because if all else fails, it's like the Randy Moss thing, F it, 18's down there somewhere, If all else fails and you need to make that big play, F it, Justin Jefferson will be down there sometime, or somewhere, So, like I say, hope is not lost, Vikings fans. Hope is not 100% lost here. And even if the season does end up badly, we might get a pretty good draft pick out of it. Did really mortgage the future, and we can go from there, basically. But, yeah. So, basically, the big thing is, though, for this week, kind of wrapping this whole thing up here, the Minnesota Vikings defense is probably going to have to be the catalyst for now. Probably, because Brian Flores really stepped it up, and that defense has gotten a lot better. We're now more towards the middle of the pack into the low 20s. Which last year, considering we were like 31st in everything, I'll take that and just keep moving up. So, the defense is going to have to be that thing. But, yeah, that'll basically wrap up this video. So, until we meet again, this is Jacob. Have a good day.